Good day, Ruskin enjoyers. So, it's about 2.5 hours until the abnormal skins become marketable, and it just so happens that every single skin that we have at the current Rust store, every single skin is abnormal. Super useful, super helpful. Now, if you're confused by the term abnormal, if you don't understand what abnormal skins are, if you don't understand what regular skins are, well, I can help you out. Look in the description of this video right now. You'll see two videos are listed at the very top. The first video is a 60-second short video which will quickly showcase to you the abnormal skins. They become marketable at an earlier set time before the Rust store even rotates. And that set time will be about 2.5 hours from now. So, ooh, lovely. So basically, we know exactly when these skins will become marketable and when they will appear on the Steam market. And so, we can figure out prices right now, get that all figured out, and then of course, when the time is right, we'll race to put those barders down, and hopefully we're the people that get those early barders in first, yes. Because in the future, if there were to be like a very low sale that happens, it's a priority queue. So whoever gets their barders down first will be the people that get the nice, cheap pickups. And then they'll be able to sell those skins for some sweet, delicious profit. Oh yes. Now, if you don't fully understand how to identify abnormals, if you don't know when the times are right for abnormals, consider watching the second video listed in the description. Not only will you learn about abnormals, you'll figure out how to identify regular skins. Super helpful, super handy. An amazing advantage if you're going to invest into Rust skins. Sounds good? Right then, so let's just get cracking. Let's just take a look at all these skins and figure out prices that we want to offer for all of them. Now, I've actually prepared for this because, of course, you might notice I'm not streaming at the moment. I will be streaming again tomorrow on the 8th of January. Feel free to look in the description of this video. You'll see the links to my socials, notably my Twitch. So, all right, cool. Space Station Garage Door. In fact, I might talk about both of these at the same time. Space Station Garage Door, Space Base Armored Door. Both of them have an interesting sequel on the workshop. I'm sure you've seen my Rust Workshop skin checks this week, but let's just quickly take a look at both of them. So as you'll see here, Garage Door, but let's just go look at Vlex Workshop, and what do we see over to here? I can confirm this is the skin that I made a short video of, alright? I got a little bit confused in my Rust Workshop skin checks, but that right there is an armored double door. And it just so happens Cubist also made an armored double door. So both of them are racing to hopefully get a collection continuation. But who will win? I don't know. But it's going to be fun to find out, isn't it? Both of them happen to have transparent hatches. It appears to be so. Yes, glow and transparent. Alright, anyway, so both of them have an interesting looking armored double door on the workshop. Could we see them appear in the next Rust store? Not sure. Don't forget, this whole Rust store that you see here, not a single early pick happened. That doesn't necessarily mean it won't happen ever again this year, so, alright, we'll keep an eye out. But both of them have also matched up to expectations in regards to how much were they likely to sell by the end of its 7-day tenure. So, of course, this is where we mention the Saturday 48-hour analysis. But just the first 2 days in, we could figure out how much each of these skins were likely to sell by next Thursday, which, of course, is almost now. So, yes, with the Garage Door, 28 to 33,000 subscribers, and the Armored Door, I said 22. I meant to say 25 to 30,000. Whoops, that was a little bit of a mistake there. Whoopsie. Anyway, so both of these, they're matching up to expectation, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing. They've kind of sold quite a lot, and I kind of expect a lot of Garage Doors to be accepted in 2026, and I can't help but assume we might see Armored Doors quite a bit more in comparison to what we saw with the previous year. We only saw 3. And they all appeared quite literally at the very end of the year. So technically speaking, this is all like within a month or so. But if we end up like this again, or the year before, I can see issues. And by default, look at these skins right now. They're not exactly doing super great at the moment. So I am concerned. Both of them, whilst it's nice to see a lovely skin in reference to a brand new building skin, I can't help but assume we're going to have issues. And so, what prices am I going to suggest? 80 cents to $1.10 for both of them. Yep, I can see more issues rather than positives. But if we keep seeing more and more Space Station theme skins being accepted, I don't think the general person, the general Rust player, will know that these aren't technically from the same collection. They all look like the same thing. They're all in reference to the same thing, the Space Station building skin. So yeah, they could work out nicely. We'll see what gets accepted next. So right, cool. That's perfectly fine for both of them. Playing it safe, 80 cents to $1.10 for both of them. HellCore AK47. So when I first looked at this, I did initially dismiss it. But this, of course, is a black AK47. You might sit there and say, well, what's wrong with that? Nothing's wrong with it. People prefer them. People prefer black AK-47s, and all you've got to do is just quickly hop over to here, look at the most expensive AK-47 skins that are currently in Rust, and you'll realise nearly all the blackout alternative skins are here. So you've got Black Diamond there, that came out like a good 2 years ago, and that's going to be a great thing to reference. We also happen to have the Ninja AK-47. Now, we did have Black Ops and Commando and Blackstone quite high up in the positive when we first looked at them, but since then, prices have dipped a bit because a lot of people are trying to sell them. So, all right, cool, I understood. So, basically, when times are good, I can't help but assume this will return back to form. I can't help but assume this will go back up to its Rust store price. And as I said, I feel like the best thing to compare to would be the Black Diamond AK-47. And so, let's go ahead and take a look at that. So, where are we? I am looking for... Ta-da! I looked at it just before the recording. Right now, this is selling for just over $6, but its sales history wasn't perfect. But that's a great thing to learn from. So initially, didn't exactly do super great. This sold for what, like $4.49? It went all the way down to $3. But when times were good, it bumps up. There you go, in the summer. August 2024, it goes all the way up to $5. But inevitably, it has some ups and downs. So last year's post-Christmas, that went all the way up to $6 as well. And it just trends downwards, 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 downwards. It went down pretty bad around October time, October 2025. But then from like $3 all the way back up to $6, that's been a wonderful climb. So I'm looking at that. And now I'm referencing back over to here, looking at you. I'm thinking, you know what? I could imagine quite a lot of people might appreciate you. Let's also take into consideration how many AKs have been bought in comparison to the HellCore. So let's just quickly go ahead and take a look at this. It's one of the highest ever selling skins, but let's just remind you, that didn't stop the Ninja AK-47 going back up in price. Black Ops did go up in price quite nicely. Like, don't dismiss it simply because it sold a lot. With AK-47s, it quite literally kind of paints a picture that people really did happen to want it. So, with you, I'm being a bit optimistic, but I'm still expecting it to drop off. Like, the heart says, oh, it could be lovely when times are great, but the brain says, yeah, but it's still going to dip. So I'm thinking, as I approach this, it'll be a $1.20 to $1.60. I do kind of remember Deep Ruby last year, a very unique, interesting looking design. Well, that dropped off real badly initially. But as time went on, it just kept slowly, gradually rising, and then very recently it just goes... So yeah, that's a great thing to remember as well, because that sold for $3.49 as well. No, $3? Either way, sold a lot. So you, I'm optimistic, but it's a long-term approach. So yeah, I'm fine with that, we're good. Deep Ruby Thompson. I thought about you. I looked at all the other Thompsons that we've had over the past year. I've noticed that things aren't exactly looking super great, but then again, certain Thompsons can work out very, very nicely. Now, Deep Ruby collection. In reference to the AK we just saw a second ago, when Deep Ruby first initially came out, I do remember quite a lot of people were kind of against it. I think it's mainly just the armor. Anyway, so the tools, the weapons, they're actually doing pretty good. Deep Ruby double barrel shotgun, only down by 2%. If you know your double barrel shotgun skins, you'd know most of them just go down in price pretty badly. So this right here is not too bad. I'm not too worried. But I can still expect it to drop off a fair bit. So in terms of, like, you know, again, referenced what we saw with the Deep Ruby AK-47 last year as well, with the initial drop off but the gradual rise. It is a very nice, unique looking Thompson. It's got a perfectly fine looking red aim sight. But it's also done about 20,000 subscribers, and let's just quickly confirm a nice quick refresh. Yep, it's definitely going to reach over 20,000. But in terms of expectations, it is basically matching up to expectations. 18 to 21,000 subscribers. Yep, by tomorrow probably will get quite a few more subscribers. I think I want to play it a little bit safer, but I can still see it work out quite reasonably. At $2.49, I'm going to sit here and say 90 cents to $1.30. There will be more Thompsons that come out this year. Don't forget Twitch drops, kick drops, you get the idea. So, yeah, going to play it a bit safer with that. But I can imagine it working out quite all right as time goes on. So, all right, cool. Thundergold MP5. Right. So, when I first saw that, the first thing I wanted to compare to was the white MP5s. But don't forget, we have had Twitch drops and kick drops recently. But still, in terms of marketable MP5s, Arctic Skull, you're doing very nicely at the moment. Scroll, 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 scroll. Comics MP5, you're doing fantastic at the moment. So, yeah, instantly you notice that white MP5s, they are in demand, and people do happen to appreciate them. But then take a look at Thundergold collection and you'll realise, oh wow, that's also doing very nicely as well. Handmade MGs, custom SMGs, double barrel shotguns, they're a bit iffy. Their prices usually don't really work out very well, but these ones do. Ooh. But out of all the skins here, I feel like the SAP's probably the best thing to compare to. That did 16,000 subscribers. This is currently sitting here at 16,000 subscribers. I'm sitting here thinking, you know what? I remember exactly how this went. It wasn't very pretty for a while. So this is its lifetime sales. It came out in November 2024. And basically, it's just kind of been there. But when we had the summer last year, it rose up quite nicely. Went all the way up to $3. Then it goes back down again. As of recent, it's had a resurgence. A lot of people returned to liking the skin. Its sales have been a bit funny as of recent. Whilst it's gone up, you still get quite a lot of people trying to quickly flip them and whatnot, so it doesn't really gain any major traction to go up. Basically, what I see here is what I could imagine happens to the MP5. You might go all the way up to $3. That would be fantastic. But it's not like huge gains. It's not like huge profits. And so, the smart way to approach this is remembering from how low this went. It did go all the way down to like $2, a little bit less than that. I think the smart approach for this would be doing, let's see here, I reckon I want to do $1 to $1.50. I feel like that's a perfectly fine approach. Perhaps I won't be super majorly insanely successful, but I could live with the idea of approaching it somewhat safely. Again, do not be surprised to see that the prices drop off around March and April time, the Easter dip. So whilst it looks fantastic now, it's not going to be like that forever. We have to accept that. So, all right, playing it reasonably safe, $1 to $1.50. Right then, tempered handmade NMG. Tempered collection's been around for a very long time. A lot of people have been appreciating it for a very long time. But not all the skins are perfectly fine, are they? You can see a lot of red here. It does get appreciated a lot still. It's ever so nice and shiny. And I feel like, you know what, let's just quickly go through the recent tempered skins. Get a good look at this. So the bed only slightly down. The backpack's doing all right. Armoured is ever so slightly down. Sheep metal double doors on the up. Bandana's quite a bit down. So, honestly, if the tempered M29 can work out all right, surely you can as well. And it's actually got less sales in comparison to the M249. Like, picture this. How often do you actually get an M249? Oh, okay, fair enough. There you go. So in terms of usage and whatnot, I would imagine the handmade MG is a lot more approachable. But judging by how some of you have been talking, you do not appreciate a handmade MG with a full sight. And that is not the best thing to talk about, is it? No. But please take note, the recent Christmas skins that had transparent aim sights, they're down in price. Blackout's doing good though. But I do imagine this year we'll see a lot more handmade MGs, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of them with a transparent aim sight. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets lost in the shuffle, basically. So for this, priced at, what price? $2.49. I'm sitting here and saying 80 cents to $1.20. I'm not feeling that confident, I'm sorry to say. I'm approaching it with a safer option, a safer buy order, yes. Night Demon, Bandana and Poncho. I did not see a collection continuation appear this past weekend. Little Ranger decided to do something completely different, which is fine. He's more than welcome to do so. Right then, so, what can we expect? Do you honestly believe we'll see hide clothing or burlap clothing in the future? Do you feel confident? Do you believe? Because if you don't, approaching this, I'm thinking, I can imagine it drops off for a bit. Like, I want to play it a reasonably, like, if we don't see another collection continuation for a while, and if you could just take a quick look at Night Demon. So that was the end of August. This was like 2 weeks into September. This was a month later, and then this appeared, oh my, another month later. I can't help but assume people just start panicking pretty quickly and the prices will drop off. Maybe we don't see another collection continuation for 2 months. Oh no. But Night Demon has been successful. And, well, the skin creator has been incredibly successful. But that could also be a problem because, of course, he also has a Abyss collection. He has the Cock collection. He's got a lot of collections. He's got a lot of collection of skins. So they have to keep making skins for those collections. So, anyway. In regards to what I see here, the sales, they're not too crazy. They're perfectly fine. I think for both of them, though, I'm going to do 70 cents to 90 cents. I'm going to play it safe. I do believe they'll drop off. I wouldn't be surprised. But if we do see those collection continuations, lovely profit. Oh, yes, indeed. So, all right. We'll see how that goes. But, yeah, I'm going to play it a bit safer there. All right. Phanton Tactical Gloves. I'm sticking with the idea that we're probably going to see a lot more tactical gloves this year. From notable collections, I just can't help but assume it's going to happen. And of course, with Complete the Sets, Rustors and whatnot, do not be surprised if we see some interesting skins. Now, let me just quickly point this out. This past weekend, we saw some interesting looking tactical gloves. Let's see if we could potentially have space-themed ones, Reptile Hunter, or Ultramarine. Honestly, I kind of had doubts that'll be accepted, but if it did, oh my. Just remember, we've seen like 4 attempts for Reptile Hunter, roadside gloves and boots. Still not appeared. And an Ultramarine, I mean, considering all of Ultramarine's doing very, very nicely at the moment, oh, it'd be nice. So yeah, we're still getting options appearing. I do believe, like the handmade NMG, like the bid, we're going to see a lot more tactical gloves being produced and accepted as time goes on. New skinnables, there is that issue. I got to point out, those recent tactical gloves that are accepted in Rustors, they're doing pretty good. So, for now, they're doing all right. How will they do if we ended up seeing 20 of these being accepted this year? Got to keep an eye out. So, with you, I respect that you are part of a fairly large collection that is appreciated. I'm going to sit here and say $1 to $1.50. Playing it reasonably safe. Again, prices are expected to drop off around March and April time. So, yeah, I feel like that's a perfectly fine slot. So, all right, cool. Abyss tools. Well, we all know that hatchets and pickaxes tend to go down to $1. They always tend to go down to around $1. And it's quite unfortunate. That is definitely the majority of time. With the pickaxes as well, you can see that for yourself. So, yep, get a look at this. Scroll, 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 scroll. Yeah, a lot of them do go down to around and less than $1. However, Abyss Collection, you're doing very nicely at the moment, aren't you? Yes, indeed you are. Look at that. Lots of green, lots of positivity. Very happy to see it. But also look at the weapons. Look at the tools. You've got the Abyss MP5 here doing quite all right. Thompson's not doing too bad. SAR's not doing too bad. LR's not doing too bad. AK47's doing very nicely. So now, I question, will these $2.49 tools actually dramatically go down in price? They don't glow in the dark. They look cool. I get the feeling they still will drop off. I kind of wouldn't be surprised if when we go for another good time, aka the summer of 2026, they'll probably rise up in price quite nicely. With these two, I think I'm going to do 80 cents to $1.10. Yeah, it's still less than halfway, I know. Maybe I might be playing it a little bit too safe there, but I have been kind of screwed in the past with other skins that have come out in Rust, with tool skins, so yeah. I don't know, I might offer a bit more than that. I'm thinking about it. But then again, do we expect to see more tools this year? Twitch drops, kick drops. I mean, we never had a Twitch drop tool, have we? No, not a pair, not that I'm aware of, but hey, there's always a first time for something. Yeah, I'll probably just stay safe with 80 cents to $1.10. Alright, I'll live with that. Wild Hunt bed. You have sold next to nothing, but you're not the lowest selling bed that we've seen so far. These two also sold quite hardly anything, well, just barely over 7,000 subscribers. And by tomorrow, I do expect that to happen to this. It'll just about go over 7,000 subscribers. Wild Hunt collection, though. Have you been keeping track? Some very interesting skins have been submitted as of recent. There's a lot that could be accepted in the upcoming Rustors. Got garage door, got a small box, but this bearskin rug, I was quite literally asking for this. And now, oh, there you go. Now, we can finally see for ourselves, could we end up dressing up and going all scary of our bases? Oh, yes. Like, this glows in the dark really, really nicely. And I'm sure you've seen the short video that I made showcasing it. It's creepy. It's interesting. It's sold next to nothing. And plenty more skins are being produced for it. We've had 2 acceptances so far. What do you reckon? Could that work out nicely? So, if we were to see collection continuations, basically, yeah, you'd expect the bed to work out quite nicely. So, all right, cool. Looking forward to it. Right then, so I've talked about all the skins. I've got everything written down, don't you worry. Oh, price, sorry about that. $2.49. I'm offering $1.20 to $1.70. I know we're expecting a lot more beds this year, but this is sold next to nothing. I don't expect that many listings. I could see some interesting things with this. Anyway, back to where I was. So yeah, that's all the prices. I'm going to go pass them over to my Discord server now. And what we'll do now is we'll skip ahead. I'm not going to record myself doing the buy orders though. I'm just going to skip ahead to maybe about an hour later where I'll discuss how everything turned out and what's looking nice and tasty as a potential nice investment. Okay, we're back. Now, before I talk about the buy orders, I just want to quickly show off how. You might remember this is the account for the Road to Big Grin. Nice little series that we're doing. And he has been selling a lot of skins. His money's gone all the way back up. He actually had more than this. But I made a little oopsie. Uh-oh. Well, I summoned some stuff. Anyway. Yeah, whiteout kilt. Why did you buy the whiteout kilt, Hedge? You know when I say do practice buy orders? Well, I went to the whiteout kilt. I intended to do just like a quick £1 buy order and then set it all up and then, you know, I can do buy orders after that. But I realised because I haven't done any buy orders in this account for a very long time, when it asked for me to redo my address, that took my attention first. I did that. I clicked to do the buy order and I didn't double check to realise, I was just quite literally buying the cheapest one from the Steam market. If anything, it's probably not the worst thing to have accidentally bought, but yeah, oh great. So there goes about like a decent chunk of the funds this account had. Hey. Well, here's hoping it rises up in price even higher. Here's hoping it rises up in price ever so nicely in the summertime. We'll see. Oh no. Oh well, it is what it is. Right then, so back over to here. Ta-da! So we've got all the skins on the market because of course every single one of them is abnormal. And now let's go ahead and start yapping about prices. So first of all, we have the Space Station garage door, a perfectly fine looking design. It blends in perfectly with the brand new Space Station building skin. But I did question, with the nerfs that happen to remove the peaks, and with it being a high quality metal building skin, is it actually going to be popular? And will these skins actually be in demand? I did basically talk about both doors at the same time. And, well, I've got to be honest with you, with the barders that we see here, it's actually not too bad, but they only barely go up to about halfway, basically. This one actually goes all the way up to $1.50, so, alright. But if we do start seeing a lot of armoured doors being accepted this year, if we do see a lot of garage doors being accepted this year, as expected, they'll most likely just drop off. And again, you saw how bad it was around October time. You saw the prices drop off. How bad do you reckon these could be? Well, this says 827 buy orders. There's plenty of them below $1, and there's there's a lot of them all around just under $1. But yeah, I can't imagine it would drop off too low, but you'd be surprised. You will be surprised. So we'll see how things progress. Over here, the armored door, almost the same with a little bit more. And yeah, pretty much the same thing. Tons of buy orders, just slightly below $1, and then a decent amount above it. I kind of wouldn't be surprised if both of these end up at around $1. Now, here's hoping we do see a collection continuation. As I said, both of these have an armoured double door in the workshop now. And I'm pretty sure we'll probably see some more skins being made next weekend and the weekend after that. But are we going to commit to the space themes, or will Face Punch just move on? What do you reckon? I'll have to wait and see. So, alright, honestly, for both of them, you could probably just put down like a $1.50 buy order, and I think you definitely will be picking them up eventually. So yeah. Wild Hunt bed. At the moment, let's just quickly switch back over to here. How many sales do you have? Let's just quickly refresh once again. It's getting very close to 7,000. And depending what time we see the rust rotate tomorrow, well, I mean, you're probably only going to have slightly above 7,000. Which, you know, that's fine. Not going to complain. Sorry, I had a ticklish throat. So, in the grand scheme of things, how many beds are we going to see being accepted in 2026? I wouldn't be surprised if it's a lot. We've been seeing a lot of Twitch drops, kick drops. We've been seeing a lot of acceptances. We have Valentine's just around the corner, Lunar New Year just around the corner. If we got 2 for October, 2 for Halloween, and 2 for Christmas, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Lunar New Year bed or 2. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Valentine's bed or 2. So, Can't help but assume we'll probably see quite a lot of these this year. Now, Wild Hunt Bed. The main thing about you is the lack of sales and the strong possibility that we see a collection continuation. I think you could probably just be better off with a $2 bar order. Again, it's $2.49, still nice. If you feel very confident with it, strong barter probably will work out well. But again, the collection continuation could appear as early as tomorrow. So it might be a bit of a risk, but maybe even consider buying a couple. I am considering it. Well, I mean, don't see the acceptance tomorrow. You can always make a refund if you want to, I'm just saying. So it's in an interesting spot. Even I'm very curious. Maybe it's worth the risk. The barters it has got plenty of them. Many below $1, but you got a lot more. You got a lot more barters above $1 on this compared to these two. So there's definitely more interest in this compared to the other doors there. So yeah, you're looking interesting. I do like the design. I think it looks cool. We'll see what becomes of it. I think if you really feel confident with it, I think it's worth making a move for. I'll see what happens with my decision over the course of the next, well, let's see here. Are we expecting an early rust rotation? I reckon it'll be like an average one. So it'll probably happen about 20 hours from now. About 8 to 9 o'clock in the evening UK time tomorrow. Maybe it might be early. We didn't have an early rust rotation for January 4 swipe, did we? No, we did not. So, alright, keep an eye out. We'll see how it goes. You're watching this tomorrow on the Thursday. You're probably having your lunch. Look at it again. Look at the sales again. Make that consideration because you don't have that much time left. Thundergold MP5. So I've been talking a lot about a nice white design. People do appreciate a nice white weapon here and there. Considering that the other options are doing very nicely at the moment. Arctic Skull, it's mostly white, but it does have a lot of black patches. Comics is just basically full white. And this, honestly, from a distance, you don't really notice the gold. I can envision that this works out nicely when times are good again. However, during that period where it's not good, when it gets bad, I wouldn't be surprised if this does suffer a fair bit. As I said, maybe it drops down by $1 or so. Wouldn't surprise me. Keep an eye on this. It is looking interesting. But I am still sceptical. But again, long-term thinking, I do think this will work out nicely. Or maybe it ends up like the double-barrel shotgun and the custom SMG, where it's just slightly below its rust or price. Well, then again, smart barter is probably going to be the way. Again, this has also got me thinking maybe I might want to make a few purchases just here and there. Like, if I was to think long-term, oh, that should be fine, that will end up going up on the positive, maybe it couldn't hurt to consider buying a few. But again, looking at the barters, they only go up to $1.70. 900, the most buy-ordered skin. Well, I think you're probably better off with a $2 barter. I'll see how it goes. I'm thinking about it, but yeah, I think the bed might be probably a smarter thing to chase after. We'll see. Deep Ruby Thompson, so yeah, you've already got a listing at $3. Uh-oh. And your barter's only got up to $1.30. Uh-oh. But again, we did anticipate the potential problems, the potential issues of you dropping off for a while, but then gradually as time goes on, maybe you'll perk up again. We would like to see that happen. Now, you haven't sold as much as the AK47, for example, that appeared last year. I'm still thinking about what might happen with you. So, anyway, with the barters, honestly, I think you could put down like a $1.70 barter. I wouldn't be surprised if you pick up a bunch as time goes on. But who knows? Maybe that gets appreciated. But then again, like, are we scarce? It's 20,000 of them in circulation at bare minimum at the moment. So, no, I don't think we're going to be struggling to be able to get some. So, okay, fair enough. We'll leave it at that. Looks perfectly fine. Barters are fine. Almost 800. But again, if you honestly were genuinely trying to grab some, I think like a $1.70 barter probably is the smart choice. HellCore AK47, a perfectly fine $3.49 design. Looks cool. There is still quite a lot of them though. And the barters, we've got a lot of them. But they do stop at around $1.50-ish, $1.60. We'll see how this goes. But I am questioning it. I don't know why this guy's listed 550 barters. That's just wasting your barter amount. Again, long term, I could envision some nice things happening. If Commando and Black Ops actually manage to go back up into the positive when times are good, I can envision this will also get to that point again. But for now, don't be surprised if it drops off. Now, if you're genuinely, like, really wanting to grab a bunch of these, a $2 barter, you will be successful. And if you wait till the summertime, I'm sure you'll probably be able to flip that for some lovely profit. Keep an eye out, all right? So, looking good, no complaints. Keep an eye out for collection continuations. There is a SAR on the workshop. Actually, was there a SAR? There was a collection continuation on the workshop. Anyway, moving on. Phantom Tactical Gloves. So, $2.49. Barters end at about halfway. That's fine. That's to be expected. Now, short term, could this actually work out quite all right? I kind of wouldn't be surprised. But tomorrow, what will we see in the Rust store? Do you reckon we could actually see some space suit themed tactical gloves? Or do you reckon they'll probably look at like ultramarine tactical gloves? Tactical gloves are still being made. Tactical gloves most likely will still be continuously be accepted. And as I said, there's a lot of collections out there that still need to get tactical gloves. Take, for example, Night Demon. Yeah, I could get some tactical gloves. And that was a recent collection that got completed. But technically speaking, you could still get like a jacket for it, snow jacket, tactical gloves. So, okay. Phantom collection, you keep getting those extra skins here and there. Props to you. I guess you need a jacket. I just don't know if this is going to be completely safe. Now, by all means, if you want to go ahead and try and grab a bunch of these, a $2 barter will be successful. I'm sure you will. Maybe even $1.50. It's up to you, but yeah, I haven't seen any Phantom collection continuations in the workshop, so I'm just being incredibly cautious because I just don't trust new skinnables. That's just basically my answer, so, alright. Keep an eye out for you. Abyss Tools, they only got to $1. Seems everybody wanted to play it safe. Okay. But they also didn't sell that much. I didn't mention that, did I? So these have only done about 8,400 and 9,200 subscribers. They actually could probably work out quite alright. But then again, with like hardly any support whatsoever, makes you question everything, doesn't it? Well, give it time. Surely they could progress. I remember the Deep Ruby tools. For a fairly long time, people didn't care for them, and now suddenly they do. And they're actually one of the few skins that are actually in the positive. So we'll see what becomes of these. With the barders there, it's making me question everything. Hey, if you truly want to buy a bunch of these, a $1.50 barder most likely will be successful. But keep an eye on this and look at it again tomorrow. Does it suddenly have a lot more barders? Because again, Abyss collection, it is in demand, and people do like those skins. I feel like a drop down to this is just a little bit too low. Seems a little bit too ridiculous to me, so... Alright then, yeah, $1.50. I wouldn't be surprised if you pick up a bunch eventually. Night Demon poncho and bandana. So the bandana only goes up to about 86 cents, and the poncho only goes up to about $1. This isn't surprising. This is to be expected. We need to see, does Little Ranger, does he consider doing primitive clothing, or does he even consider Night Demon? That's going to be something we'll have to see. Like, honestly, I think if we saw like Night Demon tactical gloves or a jacket or anything, I think you could still see the bandana and the poncho spike up a bit. But at $1.49 each, we'll see how you go. You didn't sell too ridiculously, which is fine. But we still need to see appropriate collection continuations. So we'll see how it progresses. Looks perfectly fine. Right, cool. Best of luck to that. And yep, the barders, honestly, you could probably put down like a $1 barge on each of them. I'm pretty sure you could probably pick up a bunch of them eventually as well. Tempered Handmade LMG. I questioned it. I thought about it. I thought, you know what? I don't fully trust it. And yet we do have some decent barders going all the way up to like $1.50. So that's not too bad. But will it actually be appreciated considering it's just a standard site? We've got quite a lot of tempered weapon skins, and, well, the majority of them aren't looking very pretty at the moment. That is a big concern. So, guess we're just going to have to keep an eye on this, alright? But then again, like with the barders, I don't think you probably want to purchase that. I think you're better off with like a... Honestly, you could put down like a $1.70 barder. I will not be surprised in the slightest you'll be able to pick up a bunch. But will you end up like the tempered M249? We're actually slightly in the positive. We'll see how that goes. So that's a nice positive thing to consider. But honestly, out of all the skins, if I was to like genuinely sit here and question what potentially might be an interesting purchase, I think it might be Wild Hunt Bed. But still, if we keep seeing tons upon tons upon tons upon tons of beds being accepted, that just makes me think, no, I don't want to approach that. So honestly, I think it's just barred us for every single skin this week, and that's it. So feel free to comment below. How did you approach the skins, and did you actually buy anything? Like, not everything has to be an investment. Did you buy something because you just wanted it? Feel free to comment below. Right then, so I'm sure you're fully well aware of all the brand new skins that are submitted. So of course, let's just hop over to here. Yep, here's the Rust Workshop skin checks for January 6, 2025. Quite a lot of collection continuations. With tomorrow's Rust store, I am anticipating that we actually see a combat knife skin being accepted. I will not be surprised in the slightest if we see 2 of them being accepted tomorrow, maybe even 3, because I assure you, plenty of them have been submitted. So we saw like interesting collection continuations such as Rebar, Vortex, Speed Rage, Jungle, and even Thundergold combat knife. So we'll see what becomes of all of that. But we also saw the return of the Olympus collection, Black Diamond, Antique Thompson looked very pretty. So give this a good watch and be aware of all the brand new skins. Or at the very least, just go to the description. You can get the link to all of this. Plenty more space theme skins have been submitted. Rocket. So, yeah. What do you reckon will be accepted? Will we even see any of the skins that were submitted recently? Maybe we won't have another week where we see, like, maybe we'll have another week where we don't see any early picks. Why is that all over there? Maybe we'll see just predominantly skins from the previous week is what I'm kind of expecting. So, yeah, none of these skins were accepted in last week's batch. So maybe it might just be skins from here. Which, again, would also apply the possibility of seeing some space-themed skins potentially being accepted. We shall see. So, who knows, basically. At the very least, do we expect an early Rust rotation? I don't think so. I think the fact that we didn't see an early Rust rotation last week was just a bit of a blip. I mean, who really works on the 1st of January? So, yeah, I think it's just going to be a standard Rust rotation tomorrow. So I do think you will have time to consider doing some last-minute purchases if you really want to. Now, I can also confirm, Face Punch are back at it. They are working again. Yep, those are some perfectly fine-looking things right here. Artist Pack DLC. I'm pretty confident. Both paintable reactive target. Oh, I didn't notice that until now. Oh, that's actually really, really cool. And picture frames. Oh, yay. So I'm kind of expecting both the DLCs to be ready for February. So that also does include Boxes DLC. Stone component blockout. Maybe Artist Pack's going to be ready beforehand. If anything, like a week before we actually have the update, I wouldn't be surprised if you know the channels that talk about all the brand new content that's just about to come out. I would be surprised if they had their hands on that, and we'll know like by then what's actually coming out next. So Boxes DLC or Artist Pack DLC, will you be ready for February? I'm expecting at least one of them. Which would you prefer? Feel free to comment below. I want the Boxes DLC to keep being delayed. That's what I want to see. Right then, so have you been selling your skins? I've been trying. I certainly have been trying. But yeah, you got to be a little bit patient. Got to just keep on trying, getting those sales in. If I quickly switch over to here to this account, whoopsie. There we go. Yep, I've been trying to sell as much as I can. Sometimes it might take a couple days. Sometimes it just might instantly happen. The prices we see at the moment won't last forever. So you will have to make a consideration. And if I could just quickly keep track of like my funds. Some of my accounts have actually progressed very, very nicely. In fact, if I could just switch over to here. This account's back up to 162, so that's nice to see, but that's not nice to see. Oh. Not surprising considering the amount I've been trying to sell. So, of course, if you want to be more aware of what I've been up to in regards to post-Christmas and with all my sales, just go over to my YouTube. If anything, look at the playlist. You'll notice I've got a brand new playlist specifically for post-Christmas 2026. So all of the preparations, all the way up to the point where I start selling like crazy. This basically started ever since March. Yes, I'm talking about like 10 months ago. Well, in about 2 months' time, it happens all over again. But it's just preparing, considering last minute to make a move again. all the way up to the point where we have been selling. So if you want to watch the most recent video, do consider watching the most recent one right over to here. And also, if you really want to, if you want to be aware, like you've probably got some funds now, you made some sweet, delicious profit, perhaps you might want to consider watching this video right here. Rust Camouflage Skins in 2026, the budget options. It actually has 3 different titles and it has 3 different thumbnails. So what's it going to be called here now? Yeah, it's the same. But yeah, consider giving this a good watch. Everything's chaptered if you just skip ahead. But basically I showcase some nice budget options for green, white and desert camouflage. So, alright, cool. That's it. That's a wrap. So is there anything else I need to address? Is there anything else I need to quickly bring up? I mean, I could go to micro522.com. I can refresh. I can point out to you the skins that are in the lead at the moment in terms of overall interesting bits and pieces. So Forest Guardians on top, followed by Space Armored Double Door. That's the sequel to the single armored door. Detective Board Rug, Mystic Tree Door, and Imperious Sheet Metal Door. Now, oh, that reminds me. Don't forget to vote. Where's the voting? Oh, where is the voting video? Where is it? Oh, I've lost it. There it is. I'm saving it all the way up until Friday. So as of the 9th of January, I'm going to stop the count and then we're going to announce the winners, all right? So if you have not yet voted, please consider doing so. The link to the vote is right here in the description. Out of these 8 finalists, who do you think is the Rust Skin of the Year for 2025? Feel free to comment below and feel free to go ahead and consider voting. That's it. That's a wrap. So don't expect an early Rust rotation tomorrow, but if it is, oh wow, surprise. Have a lovely sleep and keep on selling all of those Rust skins. Best of luck. Catch you later. See you. Goodbye.